In my previous Jane Remover video, I said it'd be funny if she went into a jazz direction for her next album, and it's safe to say that that's just not what we got. Jane Remover is back with their third album, Revengeseekerz. I thoroughly enjoyed watching their growth over the last 2 albums, with me particularly loving Census Designated, even going as far as to giving it some Album of the Year love 2 years ago. I appreciated the unique direction it was for her music and how it simultaneously made sense, given that the post-rock elements felt built upon from Frailty. And I'm glad to say that once again, Revengeseekerz continues the trend of new musical direction, whilst at the same time bringing back familiar elements. In fact, at times Revengeseekerz feels like the pinnacle Jane Remover album, almost a celebration of their work. At times, the album even samples her own music, kinda like a fuck it, I'll do it myself. First and foremost, Revengeseekerz is a digipop album, or more or less a rage album. So what does that actually mean? It just kinda means it's really fucking noisy. But then it kinda stops, and sometimes she'll bring in some of those guitar strings you'd have grown accustomed to on Census Designated. Oh, that's neat. So we have the glitch pop elements of Frailty, the post-rock elements of Census Designated, and last but not least, for continuing to make music in the style of the singles she released last year with songs like Magic I Want You. But that's not all. It also takes elements from the JamesOrSenio series of music from way back. It's kinda like the Jane Remover Infinity Stones, and that's Revengeseekerz. Bit of a history lesson, but we got there in the end. If you've been following what Jane's been doing over the last year, then Revengeseekerz shouldn't really come as much of a surprise. If you haven't listened to them since Census Designated though, then I wouldn't blame you if you had a stroke upon hearing this for the first time. It is a lot. It's one of the most overstimulating albums I've ever heard. There is just so much going on, and Jane, I can't even fucking hear you anymore. Turn the music down, dude. There's a handful of songs on here where I think it's just a bit a mess. I don't quite know how to put it, other than it's trying to do too much sometimes. In trying to bring elements from all of their previous projects, sometimes you're just left with songs that kinda end up sounding like a bunch of noise, to a point where I just don't even know what's going on anymore. And this is kinda strange, as a big reason as to why the JamesOrSenio series of mixtapes worked so well is because although the music is overstimulating as shit, I was always able to kinda tell what was happening and how it was structured. But Revengeseekerz sometimes just kinda goes fuck it and decides to break the sound barrier. It's like it's worried that if it stops for 1 second, it'll lose your attention, and for some people that's quite fun, and because hey, the album never stops, it's a rage album, I get it. But the way I kinda see it is that the album never has time to breathe, and you're left with it getting noisier and noisier, and I reach a point where I'm kinda like, hey, what the fuck is even happening anymore? JR was like the first of 2 lead singles, and I can't lie, I didn't really love it. Didn't like it much at release, and I still don't think I do, because it kind of embodies what I don't like on this album. It's a song with great moments, surrounded by some really messy mixing. But this gets fixed in the second lead single, Dancing With Your Eyes Closed, which is all the best parts of the album. It's well structured, it's well mixed, and more than anything, it's just a bop. Don't get me wrong, this album is fantastic and it should be celebrated to an extent. I think Psycho Boost might be the Jane Remover song of all time. This feels like the ultimate pinnacle of their work, and I'm gonna say it might just be their best song. It has that perfect balance of overstimulating, but at the same time it feels like everything is in its right place, and it creates something quite magical. When the album is clicking, it's hard to find other songs in this genre that can actually compete, because it's sometimes just on a completely different fucking level. I've seen a lot of people call this album innovative, and that Jane is paving a lane for the future of digipop and rage music, and honestly I do think it's deserved. I think Revengeseekerz will be looked back on as a fundamental album leading to the future of this type of music. I have a classmate who's sort of been making music in the same sphere, and even he's seemingly inspired by Jane, even if he may or may not know it yet. Since my last video, they've doubled in monthly listeners, and although I'm sad Census Designated didn't get nearly the love it deserved, so much that her other rock influence tracks had to get shoved onto a secret account, I'm glad that Jane Remover has found a lane for themselves here. Also, because in my last video I spoke a bit about Dead Air, the label, and I figured I'd follow up on that real quick. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jane Remover leave the label, simply because I think Jane is reaching a point where they're just too big for them, and I've also come to realize that Dead Air has kind of struggled to market their artists a little bit, and I think Jane is gonna wanna get bigger. I think she can get bigger. Overall, Revengeseekerz gets a solid smooth 8 out of 10. It's a lot of fun, and I think it'll age well.